how to write a function that computes the cross product of two vectors in Excel VBA. So this is a user-defined function we want to create in Excel. So if you want to do that, what you do, you go to Developer tab, click Visual Basic button. Now, if you don't have Developer tab in your Excel environment, you right-click at this ribbon, click Customize ribbon, then click this Developer checkbox that is unchecked. Now click OK, or you go to File, you go to File, click this option, you click the option, you go to Customize ribbon, check this unchecked Developer checkbox, then click OK. Here is checked, that is why the Developer tab is here. So now we're going to go into the Visual Basic window by clicking the Visual Basic tab. Now we just write just a function. The name of the function should be cross underscore product. So cross product of two vectors, just enter. Now we need to derive the formula for cross product of two vectors. Now, but this here, I needed to put an argument list inside this function. Now, this function needed to have an argument, so the argument should be vector A as object, raise the tab key, comma, vector B as object, raise the tab key. Now come down here. There are some variables we are going to use. Now the variables, see now, vectors have three components. You have the X, the Y, and the Z components. So now that means we're going to generate a variable of three rows, one column. That is a vector. So now, and again, it should be of 3 cells. So now we're going to be using 3 cells in Excel environment. So now I will now choose a variable. So dim I will use Uche as a variable, bracket open. So the variable should be 3 by 1. 3 by 1 is a vertical. This is a vertical range. Now this as long. This is as long. Then I needed to introduce nothing. So now this is what we're going to do. Now the next thing, I should now define the formulas I'm going to use. So let me open OneNote. So now in OneNote, let's say you have vector A equal to, let's say A1, A2, A3. You have vector B equal to B1, B2, B3. Now let's say first row, first column, second row, first column, third row, first column. first row, first column, second row, first column, third row, first column. So now you have this vector written in vector form as A11I plus A21J plus A31K. Now the B vector is written as B11I plus B21J plus B31K. Now that means A cross B vector. So the cross product of these two vectors will now be I, J, K, A11, A21, A31, B11, B21, B31. So now the determinant of this now will now be I times, the position of this I is 1, 1. So you have minus 1 raised to power 1 plus 1. Because the position of here is 1, 1. Now times, now if you look at this I now, this position I now, if you now it has first row, first column. Now you're left with only this. So that means you have A21 times B31 minus A31 times B21. Now plus J times minus 1 raised to power the position. This position is 1, 2. That is first row, second column. So it's 1 plus 2 times 1 plus 2 times bracket open. Now let me delete this now. Delete this. Now if you knock off the first column, the first row, the second column, because being this position, you are now left with A1, A11, A31, B11, B32. So now the whole of this will now be times this A11 times B31 minus A31 times B11 plus K times, now let me now delete this. Now delete this. The position of this K now is first row, third column. So now you have minus 1 raised to power 1 plus 3 times bracket open. Now if you take out this first row, third column, you are now left with this. You have A11 times B21 minus A21 times A11. So this is a formula now. We're going to be using each of this formula to compute for each of the three components of the cross products. Now, now the whole of this now, when you look at this now, the first term now will not be minus 1 raised to power 2 is plus 1. So we now have I bracket open A2A times B31 minus A31 times B21. Now plus, okay, let me I should be minus there. So now you have here minus 1 raised to power 1 plus 2 is 3, so minus 1 raised to power 3. 3 is an even number, so it will be minus 1. So sorry, 3 is an odd number, so it will be minus 1. So 1 plus 2 is 3, odd number. So if an odd number, if minus 1 raised to power an odd number, the answer will be minus 1. So minus 1 times j to be minus j raised to power minus j. So we now have A1 times B31 minus A31 times B11. Now plus, you have minus 1 raised to power 1 plus 3. 1 plus 3 is 4, so 4 is an even number. That means this minus 1 raised to power 4 will be plus 1, so it will be plus. So you have K times A11 times B21 minus A21 times A11. So this is the formula we're going to be using. Now, the whole of this formula now, in terms of cells, this, you have I, so this A will not be, like in terms of cell, you have cell, let me say in terms of cells, let's say you have vector A dot cell 2, 1 times vector B times cell 3, 1 minus vector A dot cells, comma, bracket open 3, 1 times vector B times cell X, comma, 2, 1. So all in brackets. So now this is for the first term. So the second term will be minus I bracket open should be vector A dot cell 1, 1 times vector B cells, vector B cells says 3, 1 minus vector A dot cells 3, 1 times vector B dot cells 1, 1, all brackets So this is for I. Let's check if it's okay. Okay, it's okay. Now for K part, you have plus. So now you have vector A dot cell 1, times vector B dot cells 2, 1 minus vector A times A dot cells 2, 1 times vector B dot cells 1, 1. So now these are the formulas we are going to use in our Excel VBA. Now we're going to go into Excel VBA and write this program and write a function, this user defined function that will do a cross product of two vectors. So now let's go into the Excel. Now let's create the three components of the cross vectors. Okay, but before we continue, let me correct. This is supposed to be product, it's not. So it's cross product. So let's create the three components. The three components of the cross product vector. Because when two vectors cross product, when you cross product two vectors, you get a vector, and those two vectors, the vectors will now have three components, which is the x, y, and the z components. Now let's create those three components now with this variable, which I'm using my name as a variable. So now say which comma bracket open 1, 1. This is the first component, should be equal to. Now we are going to use this expression created here. Now this is the first one. Now so I'm going to say I will now use vector A dot cells bracket open, this is 1, 1 bracket close times vector B bracket vector B dot cells bracket open 3, 1 bracket close minus. Now let's look at the formula again, the formula we created, to see if it's okay. Now we have, okay, this is 2, okay, there's 2, 1, 3, 1. So there's an error here, so we need to change this to 2. Since that it changed to 2, now let's copy this vector. Let's copy that component and paste it in. Then I edit, make here 3, change here to 3, change here to 2. Now let's check again if it's okay. 3, 2, okay, it's correct. So it's correct. We are done with that. Then now let's just copy the whole of this. Right click, copy. enter, paste, Ctrl V, paste. So this should be, this is 2. Now we'll change this. There's minus here. We have 1131. So 1131. So there's minus bracket open and bracket close. Now you have 1 here is 1131, here is 3111. So that is it. Now let's copy this one. Let's copy this, enter and paste. Now this should be 3,1. So now let's look at the last one. The last one, you have 1121. So you have 112, here it becomes 2. 21, this is 21. So now we're almost done. Almost done. Now we need to say cross. That is the name of the function. I will not click Control spacebar to complete it, then say equal to Uche. Now this is just, wait, let me just check again. Let me be sure everything is okay. This is 31 to, let me see, 21 to correct. Okay, so it's correct. Now let's test run this function. Let's see if it works. Now we have vector 1 and vector 2. Let me make this thing bigger so it's visible. Now we have vector 1, vector A, vector B. Now I want the formula to be here. I'll select these three cells. Hello? See, equal to cross product. Select this vector 1, vector A, comma, vector B, bracket close. Hold your Control Shift key, press enter. See, you have 12. Okay, there is a problem here. I copied this minus, so here I'm supposed to remove this minus. This minus is not supposed to be there. It is supposed to go off. So now let's go back. See, again, let me just delete. See, equal to cross. Press your tab key, select the vectors, comma, select the vectors, bracket close, hold the Control and Shift key, enter. You have minus 12, 10 and 16. Correct. Now let's check another. Let's make another in row. Let's make some changes. Let's say you have, let's go into, let's find some questions solved. Let's find some soft questions. Let's say cross products of two vectors. Let's look for questions. Now, so that we can confirm. Oh, there is no need doing this. Let's solve this problem. Let's solve this problem by hand. Now you have you have 2 minus 4, 4, 4, 0, 3. So let's go back to this. Now we have vector A to be 2i minus 4j plus 4k, and we have vector B to be 4i minus 4k, is it 4k or 3k? Okay, plus 3k. Let me check. Okay, plus 3k. Now we have this. Now that means vector A times vector B should be ijk. You have 2 minus 4, 4. You have here 4, 0, 3. Now let's work it out. You have I to be minus 4 times 3. You have minus 4 times 3 minus 4 times 0. Now this is for I. For j, since this position for I is 1, 1, here is 1 plus 1, 3. Let me just say 1, 3. Here is 1, 4, because now here is 1. Sorry, here is no 1, 2. This here is no 1, 3. Here is 1, 2. Here is 1, 3. Now you have first row. That is row 1, and you have column 2. So that is 1, 2. So if you add 1 plus 2, you have 3. So 3 is an odd number. So an odd, if you say plus, now minus 1 raised to power an odd number, which is 3, to be minus 1 times j. Now bracket open. You now have this 2 times 3. You have 2 times 3 minus 4 times 4. Bracket close. Bracket close again. Now you have plus k. Now k is 1 plus 3 is 4, so 4 is even number. Minus 1 raised to power 4 will give you minus 1 raised to power 4 will give you plus 1. So there is no need to write that minus 1 raised to power 3. Just the same I did, just like what I did here. But this one is minus 1 raised to power 2. Since 2 is an even number, minus 1 will be plus 1. So now you now have here, if you take off here and here, you have the left with this. So you have 2 times 0 minus bracket open minus 4 times 4. Now bracket close. Now this will now be I. This is minus 4 times 3 will give you minus 12. This is minus 7. Now you have minus 1 times j, because minus 1 raised to power 3 is minus 1. So yeah, 2 times 3 is 6, minus 16. Then plus k, here is 0 minus 16. Bracket close. Now you have this as minus 12i. You have, this is 6 minus 16 is minus 10 times minus j. We'll give you plus 10j. This is k times minus 16, so you plus 16k. Sorry. Now you have minus 12 plus 10 plus 16. Let's look at the go minus 12 plus 10 plus 16, correct? So here is your I, here is your j, here is your k10. So this is for the x component, this is the y component, this is the z component. So just the same, let me just move this to some other place. Let me move it to here. Here is the same. Let me just copy this, copy and paste here and paste here. So this is the x component, this is the y component, this is the z component. So this is the end of this tutorial. If you love this video, please subscribe and hit the notification bell, and also do well to share the video. Thank you.